Okay, here we are in the next movie, which looks suspiciously like the previous one. And let's see what happens if we try and import some audio. I want to import some music. I've got there. Click it once, and it appears up there in region. Double click it again. That's the region I'm going to import. Okay. And generally you want to import the music all at once, so you just double click on there until it appears in both of these positions. Go done, and that should work. Use current folder. In this case, I'm putting it into the where I'm actually going to put the audio that I import into Pro Tools. I'm putting it in the audio files folder for the other audio. That's the usual place I put it. And hey, it's actually working this time. Okay, it hasn't crashed Pro Tools. Okay, I'm going to put it on as a new track so it appears in one of my tracks in my mix. And hey presto, I've got some music. If I solo this track, I can play back this music. I should point out this music is released very kindly into the not quite into the public domain, but it's released under a Creative Commons license by Josh Woodward, and you can find his music online, including quite a lot of very useful instrumental versions. And that's really loud. Yeah. I'm going to take the level of that track down a bit because it's really loud and it's going to, I don't want to have to reset the recording levels for my Zoom. Too loud for my dialogue anyway. There's lots of different ways of getting so you can have dialogue and music at the same time and still be able to hear both of them. But just for the meantime, what I'm going to do is just keep the level of the music quite quiet. Let's get rid of the solo there so it doesn't just play this track alone, it plays all of them. Let's see what this sounds like. Excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go. Okay, I don't like the fact now that the music sort of starts immediately. The dialogue starts immediately. So I was going to move it along a bit. Okay, and let's see, it's the transport window, go back. Excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go to get some good food.
Good food? You want good food? We'll go make some yourself then.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I don't really think that's all that helpful. Okay, there we go. What I'm going to do now is that track we're not using very much. That's the original dialogue, so I'm going to make it mini so it's tiny. The music we're not going to do a lot with in terms of editing, so I'm going to make that mini as well. And that allows me to get more on the screen, which is particularly useful when I'm doing what I'm doing at the moment, which is to record a whole lot. I'm going to put a transport window up there, and that helps me, a little mini transport up there. That will help me be able to go backwards and forwards and play, and the other thing to do with the transport window. I'm going to add a new type of track, which is called a master track. Master fader, and basically this is like a track which represents your audio after everything has been done. So we look at it, it's called master 1. I have to set it to be the analog output that I'm playing back, and that means that if I now play, excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go to get some good food.
Good food? You want good food? We'll go make some yourself then.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I don't really think that's all that helpful. Okay, you can see it's a little bit quiet here, and various ways we can do it, but we can just boost the levels here. Excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go to get some good food.
Good food? You want good food? We'll go make some yourself then.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I don't really think that... Okay, you can see it's getting a bit high there. Later on we'll look at putting being much more careful about making sure that our final track has tightly controlled dynamics and volume, but we're not going to do that just yet. Now, one thing we can do with the master track is I want to have a bit of a fade in. So I want the music to fade in and then to fade out again. Now, do you see this line here? The master track doesn't have its own audio. It just sort of represents the audio from the overall mix. Okay? This volume means that we can actually do what's called automation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the grabber tool, which I have already, and that's when the dialogue starts. So I want the music to fade in at the beginning. If I click on that, I can get little control points, and I can move it down. Now what this represents is that it starts off at negative infinity volume, which means we can't hear it, and slowly fades in till it gets to here, which has been boosted a little bit. It's been boosted a little bit because that's where I set that slider. Okay, and after the dialogue is finished, I want another two control points. I want it to fade out again. Doing things this way means I can actually, adjusting the volume of my overall mix, I can make it fade in and fade out. Let's play that back using this transport window and see what it sounds like. Excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go to get some good food.
Good food? You want good food? We'll go make some yourself then.
Thank you, sir, but I don't really think that's all that helpful. Okay, you should hear that the music actually makes it a lot easier to sort of fill things in, and it sounds more realistic. In this case, the voice is way underproduced. It doesn't sound professional, and it would be better recorded with a proper microphone and a proper studio as well. But there are various ways that can be handled, particularly if the scene is inside, so that we can add a bit of reverb, etc. Anyway, for the meantime, I think that's enough, so I'm just going to bounce this. In this case, I can see where my fade out ends, so I'm going to select that, because I've got timeline following edit selection that selects the time that I want to bounce, and I'm just going to bounce it to a track. These will mostly be set up right because it remembers them from last time. I have interleaved, has around 24 bits, it's taken out from the session. 44.1 I'm exporting as stereo quality again. Where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it into the overall folder for the Pro Tools session. Hit return. Excuse me, mister. I was wondering if you could tell me where I can go to get some good food.
Good food? You want good food? We'll go make some yourself then.
Thank you, sir, but I don't really think that's all that helpful. Okay, there's a lot more that can be done there to sort of make that soundtrack become more and more sort of engaging and full and things like that, like we expect for a movie, but this is only sort of like a second or third Pro Tools movie, so we're going to leave that for the meantime, and next time we're going to look at a bit more of taming the dynamics of people's voices. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.